You are listening to the Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front podcast. We are based in Manhattan, Illinois, a southwest suburb of Chicago. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Manhattan Tri Club. We hope you like the show. Hello again. We are here in our regular cadence. We're happy to be back. Manhattan Tri Club bi-weekly podcast. Everybody's here. We got special effort here by Bridget, but April's here. Hey.
Hello.
Bridget is driving back from Texas. She's on the road with her mom.
Yep, live from Amarillo,
cool
Texas.
She made the effort to get on. So Amarillo by morning. I'm Chad, and Grace is here also. Hey guys.
Hey everybody.
So today we have a pretty loose agenda. We're kind of going to talk about training, races, some of the pro races that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. Not in any great detail, but just kind of our take on some of the racing. Really cool stuff. The first 3 weeks of the season has been pretty impressive. And just general news. We got a big announcement through some of the hard efforts of Grace. And I'll let April decide when we're going to drop that good news. But how's everybody doing?
Good. Busy.
Good.
Tired.
Yeah, be tired today for sure.
Yeah, I think we're in the build phase 2, so that's when everything starts ramping up. Especially for the 70.3 in Rockford. That's we're starting to get to kind of the meat of the training. And April, you get the pleasure of continuing that for an extra 3 months.
And we're trying to talk Grace into that too.
Yeah.
I'm wavering. I haven't given up. Thought.
Neither have we.
I will be there, either racing or supporting, or racing and supporting.
Well, and unfortunately, Bridget is going to be sidelined for a little longer. We got some more bad news on the other ankle. Looks like Bridget's going to have surgery, same kind of injury as the last one, tear of the peroneal tendon. But if there's any good news as part of that, which there's really not, but the surgery's on May the 4th. So May the 4th be with you.
Absolutely. May the 4th be with you.
Get it?
I think it's good news that you get to do it so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they would heal fast.
Yeah, I'm excited to get it done and get back to being able to walk comfortably and start to run.
Yeah.
And swim and bike. Well, she's already swimming, and bike. Consistently.
She's definitely still kicks our butt in the pool. Well, at least mine. But April's got a new gear that she found, which is kind of really annoying.
You just got to work on those flip turns or the open turns, Chad, because Chuck even said we were right together until that turn, and then I came out ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was working on flip turns today, and it was not fun.
You guys were doing so good, though. You guys did so good the other day.
Yeah, we're going to miss Coach Bridget in the pool tomorrow doing those flip turns.
Yep.
I'll just give you both nose plugs, and then you can practice more.
For me, it's not the water in the nose. It's more just flipping.
It's you got to work on your streamline and your push off the wall, and your shoulders with your streamline, because you're so bulky. You're so strong at the top that you don't get the streamline.
Yeah, I have many problems.
So you got to work on everything except for the breathing part.
I got everything. I shared with you guys today. I got my swim video analysis from our good friends at Effortless Swimming, and Taz did a really cool analysis. Bridget hasn't seen it yet, but Grace and April have seen it, and they just do a really cool job of identifying things that you just don't know. And part of my problem is I'm not finishing my stroke on the back end of the stroke, and that's forcing me to kind of stay flat in the water and not rotate. So I practiced it a little bit today, and we'll see. I got 2 weeks for state, or a week and a half for state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a game time decision if we're going to try a flip turn in the 50 there or not.
I think so.
Likely not going to happen.
The nerves might get to us.
Right. And that's a cool part of what I think we're going to talk about today is just any kind of race we do, whether it's a state swim meet.
Yeah.
I just told my mom that, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm swimming in the state meet. And she just rolled her eyes at me. And so, oh, Bridget. Oh,
Mimi, you're going to be there in the
Bridgie.
stands.
She's going to cheer us on
Yes.
from the stands.
Bring the snacks.
She can do it.
Yes.
Yeah, you should see her in the pool. She's like the best aqua exerciser lady you would ever see.
Yeah.
She's
Nice.
got the 75 to 80-year-old, record holder.
That's my goal, is to be an aqua exerciser.
Same. But a nice one, like Mimi.
Yes.
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 Not like the mean ones that we've talked about off of the podcast.
No.
Right.
No.
But yeah, so April, take it away. What are we gonna talk about, and in what order? And are you dropping the news?
Let's make everybody really fancy news. We have
Fancy
two.
Yeah, you'll want to hear this news. It could benefit you.
Yes, you're going to want to stick
Yes.
around. It is very exciting. So we're going to talk about training a little bit. We're going to talk about our races, and just like Chad said, what we think of the beginning of the elite season, and then some other things in there that I thought were just interesting in the news of triathlon. So yeah. So how's everybody's training going? I know we're training for swim state. Chuck gave us the tip of you have to throttle back your endurance training, and your you have to have a proper what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, taper. You have to have a proper taper for state. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. But I'm excited. I'm excited to have one swim meet under our belt, so we have some records to break around here, hopefully.
Hopefully we don't have any goggle malfunctions, because it gets pretty heated.
Oh yeah, you better figure that out, because then you can't lean on my goggles fell off. That's why I lost.
Yeah.
And
everybody witnessed it, though.
Do you know that Michael Phelps would train in the dark without goggles, and trained every possibility that could happen in a swim meet, so that if it did happen, he was fine?
Well, I think at the last, Chuck told us last week, right, that Phelps jumped in and his goggles flipped and were full of water, and he broke a record in the 50 or 100 flies with his goggles like that the whole time. So no excuses.
Yeah,
Chad.
exactly.
You're going to win the race. Goggles or no goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Eyes or no eyes.
You guys do know that I don't swim like Michael Phelps.
What?
One day you will.
What? We all do. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, if you've missed any of the previous podcasts where we talked about our first swim meet, April and I were racing, and I dove in off the blocks, first time ever in a competition diving off the blocks, and my goggles fell down, filled up with water, and I swam the 50 blind, or that was the 100, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So at the 50, I stopped and fixed my goggles, and so hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Need some proper.
Chuck gave me a good tip, though. Chuck told me to put my goggles on and then put another swim cap on top, and that should hold them in place.
Yeah.
until your head feels like it's going to pop off.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all
And
those
you have a
rubber
total
bands around the
migraine.
watermelon.
Yeah, you got a rubber band around your face and I had die of a heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But how's
good
everybody's
stuff.
training going besides swimming?
Grace, how about you go first?
Good. April and I were just before we started talking about today's rough day. I had a rough run today. Not rough in that it was bad. It was just hard. It was hard to complete, but I did it. It's going pretty good. We all ran 9 miles together this weekend, except for Bridget because of the ankle. But the three of us ran 9 miles on Sunday. Was it Sunday or Saturday? And felt pretty good. I think we're all progressing as we should be. No injuries, knock on wood.
Oh gosh.
And we're getting to the final countdown here. I know it's still 8 weeks away ish, but it feels like it's the final countdown. Maybe it's 10 weeks away. Still feels like the final countdown.
It's going to be quick.
Yep.
Definitely, time flies.
And you're talking about Rockford, right? That's where we're.
Yes, I'm talking about Rockford.
Okay. Rockford half Ironman. I'm looking it up because my we're what 5 weeks, we're 1.5 weeks away from Swim State, but we're 5 weeks I think away from Quarryman, and that one is giving me a little bit of anxiety because of the hills.
Oh, yes. My eyes are on the prize, the Rockford prize, because then I get to take a rest. But yes, we have the Quarrymen before that. They Swim State before that. And the Quarryman 10, I think, will give us a good idea if we're ready to run the half marathon at Rockford.
Yep.
And I think we're all set.
Grace, don't think that we didn't hear what you just said, but you're not going to be technically done after Rockford because you got another 3 months for Madison.
Well, you can always take that dip. You can take that dip, go back to like phase 1, you know?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
So that'll feel like a rest.
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking.
We're trying to get Grace to do the 70.3 in Madison.
Yeah, peer pressure.
Yes.
Lots of Instagram reels. My training's going good. I feel good on my running. My cycling, I'm a little behind on. I feel better on my swim than I ever have, just because I've been doing it so much. But I feel like in my run, my endurance is better, my pace is better. Not back to where I used to be, but getting closer. So I'm starting to set some higher hopes or higher expectations for the key races like Rockford. I'm actually looking forward to starting triathlons. We've done the indoor tri. You guys did 2. I did 1, but my first one is a sprint tri at Bear Lake, a Memorial Day weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. Just to actually get out and do a race outside where I can ride my bike outside. Finally, able to get off the trainer a little bit. But I feel like my training is right where it needs to be, maybe a little bit ahead, and I'm very optimistic. And just a quick shout out and a plug for the Manhattan Tri Club. It's always better to train with friends. We did the group run together last weekend. We've done a couple rides. We're going to do some more rides coming up here as the weather starts breaking. But that no matter your pace, it's always good to do it with friends.
Yeah,
sure.
Always. Do you think that your bike is lacking because of your high expectations of cycling?
A little bit. My
feel behind.
My FT. No, it's probably some of it's in my head, but my FTP went down a little bit from where it was last year this time. And I think that's just because I didn't ride the trainer as much as I did the years before. Mm-hmm. But now that I'm getting outside, I feel better on the bike outside than I do on the trainer, and that's typical.
That's interesting.
Yeah. it is because the trainer, I love the trainer, and I think it's really good. It's a good training tool, but you can't duplicate outside, because outside you have all the conditions, the weather, the roads. You can be on a crappy road, and you got to learn how to brake properly and how to turn into or break into the turns. So we talked about that. Um, but getting uh, used to handling the bike outside is an invaluable experience. We've seen people in these races. You guys saw it last year in Rockford. Just you can see people who are inexperienced in tough conditions, especially windy, they get blown all over the road, and it can be dangerous. And um, so I think that my bike will get there, but I really spent most of my winter in the spring working in the pool, and I feel like I've got that to a point where I'm looking forward to the swim. I want to do the half iron swim, and I want to do the iron swim, and because I know I can do it, and even though I might not be as fast as I want to be, um, at I one of the theories that I have, and I've heard it from a couple different coaches on all three disciplines and how they all go together. And it's really typical for somebody to have a tough race, like Rockford was a tough race, and then you at the end of it you say, "My God, my run sucked, and my run was terrible. I got to work on my run." Probably wasn't the run that sucked. It was probably the swim and the bike that sucked
That led up
and
to
blew
it,
your
yeah,
run
for
up.
sure.
Yeah.
And so I've taken that kind of approach with my training, and I really am focused hard on the swim, even though the swim is 1/10 or 9% of the race. Um, and then my next focus is on the bike, and I really think that that's why my run is starting to come along better, because I'm better conditioned in the first two. So we'll see how it plays out, but that's kind of my expectations or goals.
Yeah. And I'm curious, Grace, you always say that you don't feel winded when you're in the pool. Do you feel like a total body fatigue when you get out?
No.
So you
I
feel
did.
like you're efficient enough in the pool, and then you're not feeling it on the bike or run?
Oh, I guess I thought you were talking about like after practice when I go home, do I feel fatigue?
I think both. My question
No,
was
in the
for both.
tries I have, no. I feel like no, because I think, and I've told you guys, I don't know quite how exactly to push myself in the water yet. I'm getting better at it, and I do get winded now sometimes. I think a big part of my problem in the pool is strength, not cardiovascular. I'm not strong enough to push long enough, and then I just kind of give up. But I have not felt fatigue going into the bike leg ever.
Interesting. Because you would think, like, if your theory was right, if you're not strong enough, or it's, the muscle that you think is holding you back from being faster, you would think you would have that total body fatigue from using the muscles.
I don't think I'm pushing my muscles harder. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
I could do curls like this all day long, but if I put the weights there, I can't. So I think I'm in the water just kind of lightly pulled, just kind of instead of really like pushing or
got it.
pulling.
Interesting.
But I'm trying harder now. And I think I have seen, this is not impressive for anybody but me, but I swam my first 100 in 2 minutes flat.
That's
On Monday.
awesome.
On Monday was it? It was Monday, which for me that's huge. But I know it's really slow for everybody else.
No.
But I was really excited, and that means I was pushing myself. So
That's awesome.
thanks.
Well, Grace, you got it in you, and proof of that was in the first swim meet when we made you do it. You didn't want to do it, although, like we talked about, I will not be subbing in the backstroke for you in the relay again.
Again.
But when you did the freestyle in that race, in that relay, you actually had fast turnover. You went faster than you've ever gone in that race, and you did a water start. You didn't even do the off of the blocks. And
I do lose a ton of time on the turns in swimming, always. But
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
we're all
skill
going
in
to work on
itself.
flip turns. We're all
Yeah.
working on flip turns tomorrow then.
Yeah. Or fast open turns too. I feel like I've gotten a good open turn lately.
Yeah, I think for me, for the swim part of the race, at least for the 70.3, my focus is just on not panicking and not stopping. So that was all for the whole 70.3 last year was don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And I didn't stop and I kept swimming. I didn't panic. I didn't go hard, so I wasn't fatigued, but that has been my focus because it is such a short part of the race and it's my weakest link that I'm like, all right, I just need to get through this. So
Yeah. And you had an incredible time last summer
30,
at the race.
36
So
minutes.
yeah,
I was happy with my time.
that focus and consistency for sure is like a big part of like I think why you were successful.
How about you, April? How's the training going?
Well, I'm so glad that we did those indoor tries because especially the second one because it was much more serious. Like there was rankings. It was put on by a triathlon club, a local triathlon club. So I just like I think that like pointed out to me what I needed to train more in because I like killed it on the swim because that's what we've been training a lot of lately. But my bike was really rough, and that was I felt like I could have done better. I wouldn't say it was rough, but I feel like it was very much like middle ground, and I could have done a lot better. And then the run it was like better than it has been in years past, so I felt like good there. So I've been trying to focus more on the bike and making sure I'm not like lollygagging while I'm training and making the most of my trainer workout. So like today's workout was super tough and like getting smarter, like, you know, Chad's educating us on cadence and power and like how all those things go together. So today I also had a threshold workout and it was hard. Like it was like a small set of 5, you know, just a few seconds, you know, on and then rest. But those like 3 bigger chunks, I really had to like I was breathing hard through it. I really had to focus. My legs like that it's so weird because on the bike I don't get like sore, but like my legs get so fatigued, my quads get so fatigued. So I've just been trying to focus on the bike because that's, you know, where you spend the most time and hopefully where I kick some people's asses.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Well, you're right. It is the one where we spend the most time, and it's easy to just say, "Oh, I'm just gonna go and ride and get to the run." If you got to have strategy, and we're all putting together our own strategies together. We're putting our individual strategies together as a group, so we're kind of bouncing stuff off of each other, and you know once we get closer to the key races, and the key race being Rockford, you will have a game plan, and you got to take it serious because these are serious races. It's the real deal, and you don't know what's going to happen. It could be 98 degrees and windy again, or it could be 48 degrees and rainy and crappy.
And that's why I went out and ran yesterday. Yesterday was a crappy day and it was raining and it was humid and gross. And I was like, this could be race day. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep. And I think because April, you in particular, because you're really getting strong at the swim, you're going to be inclined to go out there and hammer it and hit the swim hard. And it's a current swim, so you're getting a little boost there, but so is everybody else. But you've got to really kind of look at the overall race, and if I spend some extra energy just really trying to come out in the top echelon of the swimmers in your age group, what's the cost benefit? Are you sacrificing now because your bike is going to suffer, and then if your bike suffers, then your run suffers? And like I said, that's kind of the strategy that I'm taking. And now that we all are proficient enough in the swim to hit a pace, hit a comfortable pace, know that your heart rate's going to stay in zone 2, maybe zone 3 towards the end of the race. You want to kind of amp it up and get ready to get out of the water. But the strategy is really going to come into play, even for us age groupers and people who aren't triathletes. Like my wife, she's like, yeah, whatever, just go race. And that they don't know that there's a lot of stuff that we got to think about. And I use my wife as an example a lot because she makes fun of me, and so does my son. But and you guys know her and know it. So, but yeah, I think in general training is coming along really well. And Grace, I would hate for you to waste your training by not doing Madison in the fall.
Get your money's worth.
That's right.
But I
did run it by Brett, and Brett was like, yeah, you should totally do it. I'm like, no, wrong answer.
He's like, another use for my scooter. Perfect idea. Yeah. And I think that's what that triathlon, because we did that indoor tri was 15-minute swim, 15-minute. I could be getting the times wrong because I think one of them was 10 minutes. Anyway, so it was like timed. And so then you're ranked based on your distance. And so like that really put like a perspective for me on like your swim. Yeah. Like I did really amazing in my swim in my age group, but like it didn't matter because it was the smallest distance. And so why spend the most energy there? And then, the bike is like, I was, right around the top for the run, even with the person that won my age group, but it was the bike that kind of did me in. So I just thought that was really interesting and really kind of hit home. But also for Ironman, like I'm not going to place, like my age group is so competitive. Like my goal, I have a time goal that I want to hit, but I'm never going to, place in my age group or make worlds or anything like that, because I'm not there. I'm not a professional. I'm not, as much as I would love to quit my day job, I cannot. I'm not getting paid to do this yet. So, So yeah, like we'll see how it goes. But I think now that I'm smarter, because I went into last year's Rockford. Grace, was Rockford your first Ironman too?
Yeah. Yes.
But not your first triathlon, right?
No, I had done two Olympics, one sprint and one super sprint before.
Okay. And how do you feel like...
Not all that, but...
I was going to ask, like, how do you feel like your transitions went when you did the Ironman? Like, did you prepare for those?
For the transitions?
Yeah.
Well, the transition to biking went horribly because I left all my fuel at the transition spot. So I got on my bike and I'm about 3 miles in and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any of my fuel. I have nothing. Thank God I rode RAGBRAI because I was prepared to ride for a long time, like 15 miles without getting anything. So that was okay. I didn't feel like Rockford, I didn't race, right? I wanted to do it and I wanted to finish it. I had a time goal, but I wasn't like racing because I didn't know what that would feel like. I wanted to keep I did have a coach for that race, and my goal was to keep my heart rate, I think 140 or below, which for me is pretty like, I'm smooth sailing the whole time. So I wasn't that panicked or pushing during the transitions.
Yeah, and I think the weather wasn't great for racing.
And that was the other thing I was going to say. The minute we woke up, or that week, as the weather progressively got worse and worse and worse, all hopes for any kind of anything went out the window. And it was like, just take your time. I wasn't really pushing it through the transitions. This year, I want to actually try to race, and then we'll see how the transitions go.
Yeah.
But I always have to use the bathroom, and I really wish I didn't have to.
Well, we talked about that. You can plan for that too. It's your own wetsuit, so.
I told my friend that on our 9-mile ride, I was like, we went to the bathroom at 3 miles, 6 miles, 9 miles. She's like, oh my God, you can't do that.
see the bathroom, you're like, I don't know when I'm going to see this again.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, can I tell a funny story about Grace? One of the first times I met Grace was I think the Masters was swimming mostly at Lincoln Way West. That was the first place I went, and Chuck introduced me to a few people, and he put me in Grace's lane, and she was like, "Yeah." and I'm like, you know me, I'm chatty Cathy. I like to talk, and she's like all down to business, and I'm like, damn, she's just either she doesn't like me or she's really focused on swimming. And so, a week or two goes by, a couple sessions, and I'm like, so what are you training for? She's like, well, I'm doing my first Olympic distance. I'm like, oh. She's like, what about you? I said, well, I signed up for an Ironman. She's like, oh my God. So she does her Olympic, and we didn't talk for a couple times. I didn't see her after you took some time off after that Olympic, and I'm like, so how'd your Olympic go? She's like, ugh, it wasn't good. I'm like, well, why not? Do you remember this, Grace?
Yeah,
she
but
goes,
I remember that Olympic was horrible.
She goes, I swam probably double that I should have because I got off track and I wasn't paying attention.
I was totally lost. I think I swam 16. What is the Olympic distance?
Olympic is it's like 0.9 mile, 0.97, just under a mile.
Okay.
I swam a ton more than I should have. And then I was the last one out of the water. Mind you, it was an Olympic where there were only like 30 participants. So I came in second in my age group out of 2. But I didn't care. Like, everybody was gone by the time I finished almost. And I went to get my medal. I was like,
heck yeah.
Guys, like, you really want it? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I do. I finished this damn thing.
Well, totally going down this rabbit hole, and I'll throw myself out there with an embarrassing moment too. And I'm not sure if I talked about this on a podcast, and I apologize if I have, but you guys have probably heard it. But my first Olympic was a month before that Ironman in 2024 up in Michigan, and I had a terrible swim. It was my first swim. I'd never done a triathlon. And I signed up for an Olympic just to get used to it. I thought, no problem. Mark Higgins is like, yeah, you're probably going to die.
On the Olympic?
He didn't say that. He saw me swim.
When I met Dad, anyway, sorry, I'm going to interrupt for 1 second, in the water, and I had only done a couple, like literally a super sprint and a sprint try. That was it. And I met him, and he swam at the time. He's a much better swimmer than I am now, but at the time he was a worse swimmer. And he's like, oh, yeah, I signed up for an Ironman, and I've never done a triathlon. And I was like, same thought, you're going to die.
So where was I? So on my Olympic, I get in the water, full wetsuit, bought a bright, nice, brand new wetsuit. Dan Barr, you guys know Dan Barr. He was there watching a couple people do duathlons, and Dan was giving me some advice. And he's an amazing athlete. And he's like, all right, just put your face in the water and just keep going and don't stop, and you'll get through it. So I finish in an hour and 12 minutes. And
total
for
or just
Olympic,
the swim?
Just the swim. I was the second to last to come out of the water, and Dan was sitting there waiting for me. He's got a picture of me, and I look like I'd literally been through a war. And he's walking with me to transition. He's like, so what happened? Why did you do so bad?
You're like, man, I'm not
because I don't know how to swim.
My day's not over.
But it was so cool that Dan just hung around, and he waited for me to come out of the water. He's like, I was getting worried about you.
That's the difference between Chad and I. I signed up for Masters. I signed up for a triathlon to learn to swim. So I signed up for a super sprint and Masters. Shad signed up for a triathlon to learn to swim, maybe, I don't know. And he signs up for an Ironman.
Well, Grace, that's what I did too. I signed up for an Ironman, and the Ironman, half Ironman in Rockford was my very first triathlon ever.
Yeah.
Didn't do a warm
I did my
up, didn't
big-
do a tester race, like
Just
all
did.
gas.
Yep.
But it was fun. But it
Go
like
big or go home.
yes, but the swim is so different because we even went open water swimming before Rockford, and I was like, oh, no big deal. But as soon as you jump in that water with like hundreds of other people that are also panicking, so this is where my question about the transition to you, Grace, earlier was going of like what kind of strategy are we going to work on just being smarter about our mental performance in the race, and also like now we're smarter. I mean, with Rockford, I was like, I'm just going to wing it, I'm here for a good time, like I hope I make it to the end, like I'll just keep moving forward, like that's all that I thought. I'm like, just keep moving forward. But as soon as you jumped in that water, it was wild because I was like, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Like I felt confident in the water, but everyone around you is panicking. People told me they were going to do that, but it is like feeling the vibe of panic versus like people telling you about it is obviously so different. And I just remember like swimming with my head above water and breaststroking and just kept moving forward as everyone is like, and not everyone, I'm being dramatic, but like so many people around you are like panicking. At one point, like a man was flailing his arms like he was drowning, and people are like, you help, kayaks. And I'm like, I can't even put my face in the water around you people. Like, I feel like I should also be panicking. And Bridget locked eyes with me because she jumped in at the same time. And she's like, are you good? I'm like, yeah, this is the best time ever. I'm having a great time. This is amazing. I love this. It probably took me like almost 500 yards to put my face in the water.
Sorry, the puppy snuck in.
I saw him.
For me at Rockford, it was the same. That was an interesting start. Grace and Karen and I started together, and we all jumped in there. We were going 3 wide off of the pier, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stay on Grace's hip and swim with her the whole time. And so you remember how you swim straight out like 25 yards, and then you got to turn left around that first buoy.
Yeah.
So I jumped in and I start swimming, and I get to the buoy and I turn and I'm like, where the hell is Grace?
Yeah.
I lost her. I couldn't see her. I couldn't see Karen. All of a sudden I'm there by myself, and you panic because you have a plan, and the plan just completely went to shit in the first 25 yards of the swim for me. And now I think what's good for all of us is that we've done the course. We know what to expect. We know what transition looks like. You know how far you have to run once you come out of the water to get to transition, and you got to go through that loop and then come back to your bike. And then when you come out on the bike, and all that pre-race recon is important just so that you can get comfortable with the course, because something is going to go wrong. More is going to go wrong than go right. And it's how you adapt to those. So that's a great question, is what's your plan going through transition? That's one of the small areas of a race where people just give free time away.
Mm-hmm.
You should be 2, 3, 4 minutes in transition, boom, out. Some people are in there 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
like
having
that's
a snack.
A little bit harder to replicate in like the indoor tries, because you have a locker room, you have like dry clothes you can put on, like it's really different. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just interested like where we're all gonna save some time and strategy alone.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. A lot of people don't practice their transitions because it's not a very important part in their mind, but it is an important part, and it's good to practice it. It's good to, when you do your brick run, do a true brick run, or do it's not as popular, but I like doing bricks with a swim, so swim to bike, and it's a couple times I'd go to swim and I'd have my bike on the rack in the parking lot, and you go and you change in the locker room real quick, you run out and throw your shit in the car and go do your ride, and you just get used to that transition, and you got to let your body catch up from being horizontal to now being vertical, bent over, and it's just a whole different physiology. So
and then you have
something
to
we all
to work on, yes, because then like once I got off of the bike, I felt delusional in that transition going to the run. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Like my shoes are in the bag. I guess I got to do these. And then it was like confusion. So be much better about like labeling things or making sure that I have because I just packed my bag. I didn't organize it in chunks.
Didn't lay it out before the race started. So yes, definitely have everything laid out in the order that you're going to use it on a towel. That helps a lot.
Yeah, I did that. I think just even going like a step further of like labeling it, because my brain just was not functioning in that transition. Yeah. So like I had stuff that was sitting there from something else, just whatever was in my bag. And so when I went for the run, I was like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, do I leave stuff? Do I take stuff? I know I got to put shoes on, but that's all I got. So,
right.
Yeah. And being more strategic in that way. So rookie mistakes.
And the different distance races have different rules too. So the 70.3 for Ironman, I think all of them you set up right around your bike, your whole transition, all your swim, bike, run is all under your bike, and you set it there, and you go and you drop your wetsuit there. You got to make sure that stays under the bike. Full Ironman's different. You got bags. You got a transition bag for T1 and a transition bag for T2. So you take your wetsuit off, you get your bag, you go into a tent. It's a men's and women's changing tents. You put your wetsuit, get your running shoe or get your socks or whatever you're going to do, throw it in the bag. As you're walking out of the tent to your bike, you hand your bag to a volunteer. They take it and they put it back in line with all the other bags. Go do your ride. Same thing. When you come in, they take your bike from you at the dismount line. You run through this line, you pick up your bag, you go to the tent, you change. On your way out, you hand your bag to somebody and you hit the run course. So it's something it was definitely different than the 70.3. And I like the bag transition better than the under the bike, because the under the bike can get messy. You guys saw all the shit everywhere.
Yeah.
People leaving their wetsuit hanging over your pedal on your bike. And I mean, I was one of the last out of the water, so I had all the room in the world to go through T1 at Rockford. But yeah, it's a good conversation. It's certainly the more experience we get, the better you'll get or will get at the transitions too. And you got to have a plan for all the transitions, just like you have a plan for your bike and your swim and your run.
Yeah. Yeah. And make sure you tie your shoes. I think the swim panic was like one of my favorite stories, because Bridget is just yelling at me from across the water. Are you okay? Look at me. I'm like, everything is great. And then when I was on the run, like bike was so not eventful, but then on the run, my shoe untied and I refused to bend over and tie it. So I just found a random person that was sitting in a lawn chair close to the ground and asked him to tie my shoe. And it just so happened that he had an Ironman tattoo. And I was like, amazing. Like, you know exactly the pain that I'm going through. Please tie them tight so these do not come off my feet.
Yeah.
It was so good.
So it looks like Bridget is back. Bridget's been dropping in and out, but she's back. So she's going to have to come off a mute here in a second. We got to hear the story about the ice from heaven.
Oh, yes. This is the best. The Rockford bike obviously was very, very hot. And I think it was like mile 45, like we're almost, or it was towards the end, but there was a massive hill going up towards the end, and I was like, I am not going to make it up this hill. And all I saw was all these people pulled over, sitting under trees, like trying to cool off. And I got in my head and I pulled over and I got off my bike and I looked at this girl and she's sitting under a tree and I looked down. There's a big chunk of ice on the ground. And I was like, God just sent me a big chunk of ice. And I picked it up and I shoved it. I like started rubbing my face with it. It's all dirty. I shoved it in my boobs. I was like, and this girl looks at me. She's like, where did you get that? And I'm like, I have no idea, but it feels fantastic. So yeah, God, I quit, and God was like, no. Here's a chunk of ice for you. You can do this. Yep.
That's funny.
So, yeah, it was good. It was very good.
Yeah, I think during a race you get so delusional that you lose. Like I keep saying, this is the theme for the week. Like we did, 9 miles the other day. By the end of it, you're like snot dripping down your face, just spitting anywhere. Bathroom breaks are like you come out of the porta potty with half your clothes on again. Like you just lose any sense of like decorum or like any sense of, I don't know the right word for it. I still can't think of the right word for it, but you're just surviving by then. So I don't care what was on that ice. It was incredible.
Oh, yes.
You know what, though? This community gets it. Everybody who's done it gets it. Whether you race sprints, whether you do the full distance, whether you do even the runners. Runners are other unique breed. They have their own. I mean, we're all runners too, but the hardcore runners, they're the real deal too. They all deal with the same pains we have. They just have less gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my hands were in pain so much one day. I remember we were on one of my first bike rides with you all, and my hands hurt so bad, we're going numb so bad that Grace lent me her gloves, and she's like, "There's snot all over them, but you can borrow them." I was like, "It's fine. I don't even can't feel my hands."
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be ready for these. We're gonna be ready for these races, whether whether we like it or not.
Yep.
For sure.
And people listen and drop stuff in the comments if you have questions. We're not experts, but we've all got some races under our belts, and we're all doing lots of races this year. And if you're a first timer and have questions, there's no dumb questions. So drop them in the comments or email us, and we'll try and get answers to your questions.
Yeah, or chat in the group, because if we don't have the answer, I'm sure somebody else in the group does.
Somebody else will, for sure.
Yep.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about some triathlon race. There's one thing that I'm like just super interested to hear everybody's opinion on, but we have any cool? Chad keeps up with the professional triathletes and all of that jazz. So, what exciting news do you have? We'll start with that.
The season's just started, and their first race was in New Zealand, and then the second one was in Australia, and one was a full and one was a 70.3, and just an amazing effort. Christian Blumenfeld, he won Geelong in Australia, and he won Oceanside in California, which used to be the first North American triathlon. Now Little Elm in Dallas is a week before that, and I'll come back to that one because that had some interesting dynamics to it for Dallas. But just this guy's amazing. If you follow triathlon, he's an Olympic champion. He's been a world champion, I think, more than once. He just set the record for the highest recorded VO2 max of any athlete ever. And he's
I saw
just
that.
okay.
Okay, now this makes sense.
I'm looking
He's
at
amazing
him right now.
I'm sorry, Grace. What were you going to say?
Oh, what's his VO2? What is his VO2 max? 101.1.
101.1. Yeah. And for everybody who has Garmin Connect and does these exercise, does this kind of exercise, you have a recorded VO2 max. That's a much more technical Mark Higgins at Mile One Fitness has the technology. He has the mask that you wear, and he'll test your VO2 max for you. But 10 is like 101 something, like you said. For perspective, my VO2 max is it varies as I get closer to races. It'll go just above 50, but it usually holds around 47, 48. So this guy's double.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. And he just did Oceanside. He ran the half marathon at like a 5:30 pace. It just he's sprinting.
That's unreal.
So to watch these guys, and I think his swim was 22 minutes for a half iron swim. So yeah, I can't say enough about how impressive he's been. So super cool watching they're starting to put all the Ironman Pro Series races on YouTube. So it's a lot easier to watch. It used to be on Outside Network, and I've got my opinions about Outside Network. But if you're ever interested in these pro races, they're on YouTube, and you can just see they got really kick-ass bikes, and they're amazing athletes. But the Little Elm race, and then after I'll talk about that because it was so amazing. It was the first race in Dallas. They've always had Ironman Texas, which is in Galveston. This is a 70.3 that they added. So it's in March. I think the third or fourth week of March, and they had really high expectations. They sold out really quick. It's for the 70.3, and 75 or 80% of the field were first time 70.3 racers.
That's crazy.
So that's cool, but it's also crazy because I know when I was a first timer, I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
And there's to have that many people that don't know shit, it could get hairy. So add in, I think it was super hot. And I have a friend in our tri club, Jennifer Loderick. She actually raced in it, and they canceled the swim. And from what I heard, the water leading up to it was in like the 65, 68 degree range, really nice water. But the winds were up to like 50-mile-an-hour gusts, so the kayakers couldn't stay on point. They shortened the pro swim to 350 yards, and they canceled the age group swim altogether. And they were saying a couple of reports that I read and podcasts that I listened to, race reports, they said that the wind was so strong that an average or below average swimmer like me, when they were swimming and the wind was a crosswind, you wouldn't be able to swim to the next buoy because it was pushing you into the shore or out to the middle of the lake. So it was just really unsafe, mainly because when you have that many new athletes, and that means you have that many new volunteers. So you're not going to have like super experienced kayakers that are outdoorsmen. You're going to have Betty Sue, who's in the local tri club, who's volunteering to be in water support. And you got to love those people for doing it, but still, Ironman made a good call, in my opinion, to cancel the swim. Sounds like everybody's reports on the race was amazing, that it's a great course, challenging course. I guess the bike was brutal because of the wind. The last, I think, 25 miles was dead straight into a 50-mile-an-hour headwind.
That's awful.
So that sounds pretty awful, but
yes.
Lionel Sanders was the pro that won that one. I don't recall who the female pro that won that one, but Lionel Sanders usually he seems to win one or two of the first earlier races. He won Oceanside last year. Then he got hurt and lost most of his season. But anyway, that's my pro recap. Sorry, that was a little long-winded, but
no, that was good. And I'm just Googling the female winner because we have to give her props. It was Jackie Herring.
That's right. I knew that. And you know why I know that? Because Jackie Herring is whose favorite athlete, April? Come on, trivia.
Lucy Charles.
Mary Moore.
Oh, Mary Moore. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So she was the female winner. With a 2-minute penalty on the bike, even with a penalty. That's a perfect segue for my race drama, because I'm in it for like the reality show of it all. Like Chad loves the technical professional, and I'm like, give me the crazy drama. So, are you all familiar with the content creator Matt Choi?
Yes.
No, but I am, after you sent the lineup for today, I am now.
Yes. So he has a lifetime ban for the New York Marathon because he did not get permission and had like these, I don't know, people, his media crew following him through the race or whatever. And it did make it unsafe and it wasn't approved, whatever. So he did his first Ironman triathlon and he was DQ'd for the triathlon because he didn't. And this goes to show, like, it was his first triathlon. You know, people are a mess when you're doing your first one. But knowing the rules at least are important, and making sure that you hit up those, classes. Those are probably the worst name for them, but those prep courses that they offer at the Ironman Village, the days leading up to your Ironman, to make sure you understand the rules, how to get through your race. They give you tips. Yeah, but he just made a mistake of, he got a drafting penalty and then didn't hit the penalty tent. Like, he just bypassed it and assumed he would just get 2 minutes added to his time, and not that he needed to stop. So I think it's important to know your rules, but I also, like, where do you allow people to kind of, not be dragged for not knowing the rules because it was your first time? I don't know how I feel about it.
I have opinion on it. I think that I don't know much about him. I know he's a content creator. He's a runner, basically, is how he kind of built his background. And he's had sponsors. I read that he after he got disqualified he got the lifetime ban from New York City Run Club. So he can't ever compete in a New York City marathon. He's had quite a few issues like that while he's creating content. So I think he does know the rules. He is just out to make content. More power to him, but don't do it at the risk of other people's safety. And I think if everybody who has never done an Ironman, 70.3 or full, needs to go to the athlete briefing. They give you the lay of the land. They give you all the rules. They teach you about drafting, even though at the age group level, they don't enforce the rules like drafting, because there's not enough ride support or people on the motos to actually see it. They're focused on the pros when it's a pro race. When it's not a pro race, you'll see the motos passing you a lot. And drafting is a real thing, but it's also a safety thing, because especially like I talked about Little Elm, when you have a lot of new riders out there on a looped course, you could hurt somebody because you're trying to build content. So I'm annoyed that, one, it made news, which is what he wanted. Two, I think he knows the rules. That drafting, they talk about drafting the minute you walk into Athlete Village. They have tape measures on the wall of Athlete Village to show you what 20 meters is, or it was 14 or 12, I think. Now it's 20. But my belief is he was blatantly drafting to get a penalty, because age groupers, if you make an effort, and even if you do get caught in a draft and it was unintentional, they're going to let you slide. But if you get caught and they think it's intentional, that's when you get the penalty as an age grouper. So, not to mention, his time for the 70.3 was 5 hours and 1 minute, which is a really impressive time. So he knew what he was doing. But I'll just leave it at that.
Interesting. So you're not giving him the benefit of the doubt on not
Nope.
knowing the rules and being a first timer. Interesting.
Nope.
Grace, what do you think?
I don't really have many thoughts. I didn't know anything about him until today, and I kind of read it, and my first impression was exactly what Chad said. He knew what he was doing. He didn't care. That's his MO. So I didn't feel bad for him. But if it was like, if he didn't know and it's 2 minutes, it's kind of like, come on, just take the 2 minutes off his time and everybody move on. But if he was like serious, I don't know how good of an athlete he is, or if he was seriously competing. I would say for somebody who's seriously competing and they're going to place, or they're going to get to go wherever. Where do you go, Chad?
Well, the world, the 70.3 World Championships are in Nice, and that's the prize, right? So I don't know what I think he's
right, and
30
they bid for that. So if he was competing for a bid for that, then yeah, rules are rules.
And he had a time
like us, and they're going to disqualify us. Come on. That's a joke. But
well,
like Chad said, that probably won't happen.
If his time was 5 hours, which it was, according to the articles that I've read, that's pretty close to a qualifying time. I don't know where he would have fallen in his age group. I didn't look that up because I don't care enough. But when you're in that 5 hour half iron time and a 10-hour iron time, you're the real deal, and you're definitely competing to qualify for the World Championships at both distances. So that's the downside. If you're that good of an athlete and there's a chance that you could take a spot to the World Championships, take your penalty.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Bridget, did you have feelings? You came off of mute.
I was going to say, I didn't know anything about him, but just listening to you guys, he's a content creator. He clearly knows what he's doing if he's doing a 5 hour race. He sounds like a douchebag. So that's my opinion.
And you would think that's a hot take, but like I think it's split down the middle. Half the people think he's a douchebag and half the people don't. And fun fact, starting this year, Ironman is banned, like your phones, GoPros, like anything that can record the course or you on the course. And then I thought I heard that they were going to ban phones and like video recording yourself during marathons too. But that might be like a race by race case. So we'll see.
I don't know if this is legal. I'm going to have to check it out. But because the Ironman, this is a little off topic, but the Ironman tracker app that all of our friends and family follows us on when we're doing these races sometimes has glitches. There's so many racers out there, and you got the ankle bracelet on that. Sometimes you don't really know where they're at until you get to a checkpoint across the mat, and then it registers, so you kind of know where your athlete is at. But I saw a really cool hack, and I don't like I said, I don't know if it's legal, but put an air tag in a pocket, and then your family can track your air tag, and they can see exactly where you're at. I don't know if that's I've got to see if that's legal, but that was my wife's complaint, Linda's complaint at Chattanooga. Coming on the bike, particularly, she wanted to know when I was going to be in the transition, and the timing mats were messed up. So I think I missed her going out of T2 last year, and she basically waits around for 13 hours and only sees me coming out of T1, and then had to go back to the hotel and wait until she saw me getting close to the end. But maybe having the air tag will, if that's legal, find a place to tuck it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because my husband last year at Rockford, I must have missed a matter, like it malfunctioned, and it looked like I had stopped. And so he was trying to drive to make sure I was okay because it had stopped for like 30 minutes or something. And so he's so worried. And he pulled up to a police officer and was like, hey, how do I get to like whatever this area was? Like, that he thought I was stuck at. And he goes, oh, well, a lot of the roads are closed. But was she in the bike crash that happened? And he's like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm trying to find her. Like, why would you ask that? I don't know. I was not in the bike crash. And then finally, like shortly after, my ankle bracelet caught up. But yeah, that's a good idea. We'll have to Google if that's looking at Iron manuals.
I've got a quick funny story about tracking. You guys know Heather Lehman from Swim. She's lane 6, one of the fastest in the Masters group. She's awesome. I think you guys have heard this story, but the rest of the podcast world hasn't. But she was tracking me, and she was telling me this story after Chattanooga last year. And she's like, I was tracking you, and you were on the run, and you were like at mile 12 or mile 13, and your tracker stopped. And I'm screaming at the phone, Chad, get up, get up, get up. And I'm like, no, Heather, I was in the bathroom.
Even better, you were stopped.
So, yeah, that was funny. The way she said it, get up, like I fell down.
I could see her doing that.
Very cool.
All right, you ready for the big, exciting news?
Yes.
Yes.
Grace worked really hard on this one. So Grace, take it away.
Oh, all right. I wasn't planning on announcing this. So we have a partnership with Rudy Project right now, and they are offering all of our members 35% off of their gear. That I believe April will be sharing the link on all of our socials, so you guys can get your gear, take pictures in it, post it. It's pretty exciting.
Yep.
That's a big discount, and they have great goggles and helmets.
And sunglasses?
Yes.
Yep.
Not goggles. I'm sorry. I meant sunglasses.
No, they do have goggles. They do have like snow skiing goggles.
Yeah. Well. Okay. I'm focused on their sunglasses and their helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice.
That's a big discount, and that was really generous of them and Grace for working on that. That was a surprise. All of a sudden, we get a text, "Are you guys okay if we sign this memorandum of understanding with the Rudy Project?" And we're like, "Yeah, well, you're the lawyer."
I just wanted to make sure because there was for 2 years. We've got a post with their gear on, and I just want to make sure everybody was cool with that. So but we're excited to partner with them and to get that awesome discount for sure.
And can we talk a little bit about the chicanery that you guys were up to?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
chicanery. I think you just made that word up right now.
I know.
It's
I
a
was
real
like,
word.
Dictionary.
It's a real word. Skullduggery, deception.
Deception, yes.
So I'd known that Grace was chasing this down, and we hadn't heard anything. And I'm like, I asked him on the run this weekend, "Have you guys heard anything on Rudy Project?" Grace is like, "No, them fuckers." I'm like, okay. So my compadres here were awesome and offered to take me out for my birthday for dinner. And we went out for dinner Sunday night. Really cool Italian seafood restaurant. And April comes walking in with a birthday gift, and it's an arrow helmet in a Christmas bag. It's an arrow helmet from the Rudy Project, and it's black. It's awesome. I'll put it up on socials. Really cool helmet, but they got me a Rudy Project gift because they already had the discount code and everything was all in order, but they lied to me.
Well, because we knew Chad would go on and buy a million things right away, so he told the truth
and ruin the gift.
That's a true story. Yeah. That's a true story. But thank you guys. That was an awesome gesture. You guys are awesome.
Of course.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And
I should have worn it for the
Order
podcast.
my
You
helmet
should.
now. I'm so excited.
Well, and then I got a hand-me-down one because Chad got a new one. So I got a cool, like, arrow helmet with the cool goggles, too.
Yep.
I have
Yep,
my headphones
upside
on, so
down.
I can't slip it on.
Awesome.
But I can't say enough good stuff about the Rudy project because Grace got us all hooked up. They were so quick with their communication. But once I placed that order, man, they had that stuff packed up like same day. Here's your shipping number, like track your package.
That's
I think
awesome.
it
Yeah.
came within like five days, not even 5 business
It was
days, like 5
fast.
actual days. So they,
Yeah.
like they have awesome stuff, but also like incredible customer service and customer care. So
Yeah,
You'll find all the
definitely.
Yeah,
Use the link, check them out. Their
yes,
gear is great.
and their running and cycling glasses are they're as good or better than all the name brands, Oakley, Roca. It's just an awesome line of products. So
yeah,
I look
very
forward
cool
to
looking.
now I got a discount code. I can go buy some stuff.
Yeah, and 35% is a big discount. So check
Yeah.
them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put the discount link in the show notes too. April, get it posted on all of our socials, but please use it, and we get credit for it if people are using it. So
Yeah, awesome.
very cool. Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Thanks, Grace.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy birthday, Chad. Belated.
Thank you. 39 years old. I can't believe it.
For the 15th time.
So
All right,
you
awesome.
guys are awesome. Bridget, thanks for joining us on the road. Are you in Amarillo by morning yet?
We will be in Oklahoma in about 2 hours, so we're trying to make it to
All right.
Oklahoma right now. So, yeah,
You got
I'll keep you
this.
guys
All right.
posted.
Drive
Be
safe.
careful.
Awesome,
What
of
is-
course.
What does Mimi think about the performance? How did we do?
You guys did great.
She said you guys did great.
Well, she didn't fall asleep, so win.
All right.
Win-win. Yep. Awesome. Good night, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you in a
Good
couple
night.
weeks.
So that's a wrap on today's episode of Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front. If you made it this far, amazing. You're officially one of us now, slightly unhinged, mildly obsessed, and probably thinking about your next workout. If you liked our episode, do us a favor, follow, subscribe, download, all the things. Send this to your training buddy who needs to hear this, or the one who definitely did everything we just said not to, kind of like Chad. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And don't forget to follow along on Instagram and Facebook. All the things are at Manhattan Tri Club. You can find us there for workouts, chaos, and whatever we're getting ourselves into next. And hey, if you see us at a race, a group run, or just out on the roads, definitely come by and say hi. We're the ones having the most fun and probably talking about triathlon a little bit too much. So until next time, keep showing up, keep pushing forward, and as always, lead from the front.